Cristina Sanchez-Bullfighter, Daredevils Lesson 14. Cristina Sanchez's dream was to do just what her father had done. Like him, she wanted to be a matador and fight fierce bulls to the cheers of adoring fans. But Antonio Sanchez didn't want his daughter to be a bullfighter. The bull ring, he told her, was far too dangerous, and besides, it was no place for a girl. He did everything he could to dissuade her. Whenever Cristina asked if she could become a bullfighter, he answered, "It's impossible." He went on to paint a black picture of his own sport. He told her of the bulls that had mauled him, as well as other matadors. Antonio, in fact, had been gored so many times he had earned the nickname Scar. But all her father's warnings didn't scare Cristina off. She would say to him, "But in all their darkness there must be a tiny point of light, and that's where I will be able to pass." In the end, Antonio finally gave up. He sent Cristina to the most famous bullfighting school in Madrid, Spain. He knew it was a long shot that his daughter would succeed in her effort to become a matador. He knew also that she could get killed, but in the end he had to let her follow her dream. In Spain, most men greeted the notion of a woman bullfighter with jeers and laughter. They believed a woman's place was in the kitchen, not in the bullring. The term machismo, or male pride, comes from Spain. These men, called machistas, did not take kindly to any woman who tried to invade their territory. They insulted Cristina and taunted her without mercy. Cristina, who had grown up in the culture of bullfighting, was not surprised by their hostility. It just doubled her drive and determination. "I want to make the machistas eat their words," she often said. "They motivate me to fight bulls with even more anger, with more desire to demonstrate that women, just as men, deserve an opportunity." Cristina Sanchez wasn't the first female bullfighter in Spain, but the half-dozen or so earlier ones had been mere curiosities, or very unlucky. They never won the respect of the machistas. There was, for example, Juanita Cruz. When she fought in the 1930s, she drew huge crowds. But her career was interrupted by the Spanish Civil War. After the war, a strict law was passed prohibiting female matadors. Cruz never fought again in Spain. Frustrated, she had all the photos and articles about her career burned just before her death in 1981. In 1974, the Spanish Supreme Court overturned the law against female matadors. Its decision opened the door for Angela Hernandez, but Hernandez paid a high price for the opportunity. Bulls broke her arms, wrists, clavicle, fingers, and back. They gored her 17 times. One bull ripped out 2 vertebrae from her spine, reducing her height by nearly an inch. In 1989, one bull's horn dug into the back of her knee and came out the front. And, to top it off, she never won the respect of the machistas, said one bullfighter. Angela, no skill, no presence, nothing. Still, Cristina Sanchez willingly took on all the dangers and all the prejudice. She graduated first in her class at the bullfighting school in Madrid. Slowly, she worked her way up through the bush leagues of bullfighting. She began by fighting 2-year-old bulls in small rinks. Then she moved on to 3-year-old bulls in larger arenas. It wasn't easy. Even small bulls can be awfully dangerous. 3 times they gored her seriously, twice in her right thigh, once in her stomach. And then there were the ever-present loudmouths. Despite her supreme grace and showmanship, Cristina was still taunted by spectators. In the smaller rinks, their foul catcalls were hard to ignore. Somehow, though, she managed. After a good fight, one of the ears from the dead bull is often presented to the matador. Sometimes, Cristina would take the severed ear and scornfully hurl it at her tormentors. At last, on May 25, 1996, Cristina Sanchez made it to the major leagues of bullfighting. She faced and defeated a fully grown 4-year-old bull. That made her Matadora de Toros at the age of 24. Even the most macho of Spanish men had to admit she was pretty good. Cristina quickly became a fan favorite, earning more than $1 million a year. But why does she put her life on the line this way? After all, matadors do get killed every once in a while, and there are hundreds of gorings each year. "It's a feeling," she says, "something that makes me feel whole, complete, and satisfied with my life. No one and nothing can make me feel that way. The passion I feel when I'm with a bull." Cristina goes on to say that when she is in the bull ring, the outcome of a fight doesn't really matter. You don't care either way if the bull gets you or not because of the sheer pleasure. Well, say some critics, she may not worry about dying in the ring, but what about the poor bull? Every year, hundreds of protesters gather outside the larger bull rings to decry the brutality of bullfighting. Over 10,000 bulls die each year in the ring. Does Cristina ever pity the bull? Never, she answered. If he is a good bull, combative and generous in his fight, I sometimes feel badly that we have to part ways. But all bulls, like all men, eventually die. It is more glorious to die in a ring than a slaughterhouse. Cristina Sanchez has overcome both man and beast. Still, it could all come to a bloody end any time she steps in a bull ring. She is at the top of her sport. That means she must fight the biggest and fiercest bulls. Cristina Sanchez has a fatalistic version of what might happen someday. One day, just before entering the ring, she said, "You know that any minute now the bull can get you, and you won't be able to do anything about it."